Hi everyone, it's Mandy from Empty Nest Designs here with you, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a really lovely but quite simply elegant wedding card. So let me show you what we're going to need. So I'm going to be using Truly Happy stamp set, Full Bloom stamp set and Fantasy Flowers 1 stamp set. Now the next one I'm going to show you is, depending on when you're watching this video, a little bit of a sneak peek at something that's coming soon. So if you're watching this at any point during October 2019, then you are about to see something that is coming soon to my website. So here we go. This is Sentiments 1. I'm not going to stay too long on this because, as I said, it's something that's coming soon. But there you go. There's your first look. Oh, exciting. Okay, so other things I'm going to be using are, I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to try and do it so you can see the sheen. Some heat-proof acetate. Heat-proof is essential for this project. Normal acetate will not work. Now I'm going to put this down and hopefully be able to find it in a few minutes because it is completely clear and, well, yeah. I'm also going to be using an 8x8 card blank and some baby pink and some white pearlescent cardstock. I'm just going to move those out of the way for now. Some more baby pink cardstock, a scoreboard, Versamark ink pads, some Wow embossing powders in metallic silver superfine and opaque bright white, a mixture of one of my own embossing powders. I've taken a pearl green and a clear sparkle and I've just put the two together, so I've got a sparkly green. I'll be using a oh my goodness, I've completely forgotten what they're called. Anti-static pads, yes, because I'll be working on acetate, it's imperative that I use an anti-static pad because otherwise you'll see all fingerprints all over it and we don't want that. I'm going to be using some scissors and a ball tool and the scoring tool to go with the scoring board, as well as my stamping mat. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I think, start on the acetate because that way I can't lose it. So let me just slide this under my stamping mat so it's out of the way. Now, if you, I'm hoping you can see this. I'm going to stand up and see if you can see this clearly enough. Oh, perfect, you can. Okay, so it looks a little grubby already because I've been using this one. But that kind of helps you to see it, I guess. So with the acetate, there is a smooth side and a rough side. The rough side isn't overly rough, so you do have to feel quite carefully which might be the rough side. So I know that the rough side is the one on the top here. So I'm going to continue working on there. And obviously I've just put my fingerprints all over it. So I'm just going to clear this off using the anti-static. Ooh, a bit smoky. Okay, and then I am going to grab a sheet of paper from the side of me here. Excuse me one moment. I'll try and find one that's relatively clean. I don't like to just use a piece of paper and then throw it away. I like to make sure that it's well used before I dispose of it. So let me just pull this one in. So please excuse my mucky paper, but as I'm going to be pouring embossing powder, I kind of need it for where I can tip the embossing powder into. Okay, so first things I'm going to do is grab the leaves from the Truly Happy stamp set, and I'm gonna get my Versamark. I'm gonna start applying the ink to the leaves. I'm also going to quickly grab in the vine from the other floral collection as well. And I'm just going to do that at the same time. This is a really good slow dry ink, so I'm not too worried about having inked it up and not using it straight away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stamp, place it onto the acetate, giving it a press, then more with my fingernails than my fingers, hold the acetate down, remove the stamp, and I can see where I've gone, but only just to put the other one down. Now on this, however many you want is however many you create. It's as simple as that. If you want a massive big full floral bouquet, then you go with the big full floral bouquet. Oh, a bit of a tongue twister there. So I'm going to sprinkle my own mix of the embossing powder on here. Try and make sure I get all of it. There we go, and give that a tap off. So as you can see, that's just on there. And then I'm going to warm up my heat gun and we're going to get that embossed. So there is a few bits of embossing in this video, so hopefully it doesn't annoy you too much, but it is worth it. The finished product is going to look really lovely. So the reason I let my my heat gun warm up is so that it's hot when I take it to the embossing powder. And the thing to remember is on acetate, it will emboss quite quickly. So don't hold it on there for too long. So I'm gonna go from underneath so that you can see. Oh, as you can see, that is already turning. It's all a bit wobbly. Hopefully you can see that okay. Ooh. There we go. Did I get all of that? Did I get it all? No, I missed a bit there. Let me just do that from the top. There we go. Okay, I was trying not to do it from the top because I didn't want to accidentally blow all the powder that I haven't tidied up yet, because that would have been really, really annoying. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to tip this back into the little bag that I've put it in. Ideally, I would have popped this into a glass or a plastic container, but I ran out, so I'm using a little bag instead. So excuse me just for 1 minute while I pop this back in. Just give that a tap so that I get it all. I've never mixed my own powders like this before, and I have to say I'm really pleased with the result. If you haven't tried that yourself yet, I strongly recommend that you give it a go, because you can get some really unique embossing powders. Anything with glitter and sparkle in it though, do be mindful, because you want more of the plain embossing powder than you do of the sparkly. Okay, so I'm just going to tap my mat because it's really dusty now from where I did the anti-static, and bring this back in to show you. So there's a bit of sparkle in there, and then there's the pearlescent green. Now the beauty about working with the acetate is that it's so simple to cut out, like really, really quick, because you don't have to go too neatly. You can just kind of follow it round. It doesn't have to be precise, because you're not really going to see the acetate itself, because obviously that's nice and clear and see-through. So I won't cut all of these. I just wanted to show you how, like I said, you don't have to be too precise. You just kind of have to follow the shape roughly, and it really does not take very long at all. I'll just round that off so I don't accidentally poke myself with it. I think I will cut the long vine, because I think I want to add that to the ones I've already got finished. Because I have gone ahead and cut out, well, stamped and embossed, and then cut out the pieces I'm going to be using. But I think one more of these would look really nice on the finished card. So it won't take much longer. Almost done. 3 more. 2 more and done. Okay, so I'm going to move all this to the side now. Throw that away. I have a bin under my desk, so I'm just going to grab that. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to pop these bits with my other ones, which are just in a container over here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this back in. I'm not going to show you the next part because it's exactly the same as what I've just done, but using the Fantasy Flowers stamps. Let me just find that one so you know which one I'm talking about. So using this collection, I've just stamped I like to call this one my peacock flourish, because it just reminds me of peacock feathers, but it's also great for foliage, which is what I had it designed for originally. So all I've done is stamp this one onto the acetate as well. I've used the Wow metallic super fine silver embossing powder and roughly cut that out, and that is all I've done there. So all my bits and pieces so far are in that little container. So the next step is to do the flowers. So I'm just going to grab my preloaded stamp, my acrylic block with the stamps on it already. Again, I'm going to take the anti-static because I've had my fingers all over this. Oh, grab the Versamark again, making sure to get a nice good coverage. Oh, just pop this so it's where I put the anti-static. My stamps are a bit blue at the moment because I used them with StazOn, and as much as I've cleaned them with the StazOn remover, they are still a bit blue. But it does also mean that you can see where I've stamped. So I guess that's something handy there. I pull my sheet of paper back in so that I can tip this one in. This one I'm using the white. So I'm just going to pop this over, using far more than I need, because all you do is you collect it in a piece of paper or a piece of card and tip back in to the pot the excess that you're not using. So let me just do that now. So that I can just get this straight out of the way. Just give that a tap, remove any excess. Okay, so all my papers are trying to fall. I've got a stack of papers at the side of me and they're all trying to fall. So apologies if they sort of happen to pop into view. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to let the heat gun warm up again, and then we're going to emboss this as well. So now with this step, all I'm going to do is cut the flowers out after I've embossed them, and they don't take long to cut out at all, and I quite like the fussy cutting anyway, so I don't mind doing that. But I really like the baby pink pearlescent cardstock with the white. It gives it a really soft, very almost an ethereal feel to it. So I'm just going to bring the heat gun in and emboss this. Hopefully you can see that turning okay. Just a bit there, and then the final one. And that's done. See how it doesn't really take long to do the embossing at all. And as I said, the white on the pink just looks so pretty. And I designed these stamps that they really would not take very long to cut out. So I'm just going to chop this off here and pop the cardstock out the way. I won't cut all of these out. I'm just going to quickly grab the big one because it's easier for you to see. And then just how I do it is I like to go all around the edge first, just all around the outside. Yeah, when I was creating these stamps, I drew them with the idea of knowing that I like cutting out in mind, and so I drew them so that they were quite easy just to follow the edge and cut out nice and simply. And then all I do is I just, again, following the embossed line, cut in between the petals to separate them so that you can work with them. I'll just do this one quickly because I want to show you how I've shaped them before I start attaching them to the card, which I'm going to be using a hot glue. So let me just turn that machine on now so that's nice and hot for when I need it. I've got that off to the side of me there. Okay, so already halfway through cutting this one out, or the individual petal parts anyway. Because the cardstock I'm using is actually quite a thick cardstock. I'm not going to go too heavy with the shaping, and I'm also not actually going to be layering these up. These are actually going to be going on as individual flowers, just in single layers. If you've followed me for a little while, you'll know that's going to be quite an unusual thing, because normally I do lots of layers to my flowers, but these look so pretty I didn't want to crowd them. So all I'm going to do to crowd them by over layering them. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ball tool, turn it over, and I'm going to wiggle side to side and in towards the center so that I get some shaping. I'm just going to do that on all of the petals. Then I'm going to flip it over and just push down in the middle. And that is the full extent of the shaping that I'm going to be doing with these flowers. So I'm going to move this one off to the side as well now, because we don't need that one anymore. And I think that's it for the stamping, at least for now anyway. So my next thing, I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. And I'm going to grab down the card blank and the mats and layers that I've already cut to size. Oh, sorry, caught the phone there. Okay, so I'm not going to show you cutting them down to size, because you might be creating a different shaped card altogether. So all I've done is I've taken an 8x8 card and I've cut mats and layers to give it a nice little frame of the card around the edge, and then the pink underneath and the white pearlescent on top. But before I stick these together, I'm going to go around the edge of the white pearlescent just to create a bit of interest on the edge of this particular mat and layer. So all I'm going to do is on my one, this is my box lid side. It honestly makes no difference whatsoever. It's just that I'm left-handed, so I'm going to lean towards this side. So I'm just going to go in 2 bumps. As I'm not measuring, I'm just counting, and I'm just going to go 2 and then skip 1 and into the next one, and going to press quite firmly so that when I turn it over, sorry, I should have said this is a double-sided piece of pearlescent, but you can hopefully see the ridges there quite clearly. I'm going to turn it back to the side I was working on, and I'm going to do that all the way around on all 4 sides. So into the second bump, or the second valley, I suppose it's called, and then the 4th one. So this is literally just to add a bit of interest around the edge of this mat and layer. I'm pressing quite firmly because it is a heavier cardstock, and I do want the ridges that I'm creating to be seen. And then in there. So you could choose whether you wanted this side where you've got the dips in, or this side where you have the raised edges. I'm going to go with the raised edge side. And I'm going to pop this back onto my pink cardstock, but I'm going to grab my wet glue and start sticking it down. So just all around the edges. Give a bit of wiggle across the middle so it sticks. Just line it back up so there's a nice even show of the pink cardstock all the way round. I think I've got that on the wrong side. Let me try that way. That's better. Okay, and then I'm going to turn the whole thing over and push it down so it sticks from behind, because you get a better adhesion if you do that, I find anyway. Okay, so then I'm going to pop this onto the card blank. So again, just grab my wet glue. I would normally like to have gone on ahead and done this part, but I wanted to show you the creating the detail around the edge of the white pearlescent, so I couldn't stick it down without having to leave that part out, but it doesn't take too long. So just pop this one on here. Again, nice even frame the whole way around. As I said, I'm going to flip this over and press it down from behind. And that is the card base. So that is ready to go. So I'm going to pull in all the bits and pieces that I have already created. I'm going to tip these out. And we're going to start assembling how we want them on the cards. Now I already have an idea of where I'm going with this one. I know it sounds really obvious, but just when you're working with the acetate, try to make sure that you have got it facing the right way up, because this is the back and it does look quite similar, but you can see that one side does look nicer. So this is the right side up, this is the wrong side up. So just remember just to keep an eye and make sure that when you're putting stuff on, that you have got it all the right way up. Because it would be a real shame to kind of have one bit just facing the wrong way. So these are all the leaves that I've already done, and these are the vines that I've already cut out that I showed you the heat embossing with at the beginning. So I'm just going to see if my glue gun is ready. And I believe that it is. So I'm going to move some of these bits further up here out of the way so that they aren't interfering with the glue gun. And I'm just going to, because I know this is where I want them, I'm just going to start attaching. I'm going to try and put the glue sort of inconspicuously towards the bottom. And just give that a press. Because I don't mind that the glue can be seen down there, because it's not going to be seen when the card is finished. So as I said, this is sort of very much a wedding card that I've got in mind with this particular one, but it's just a nice, it could be an anniversary card. It's just a really nice, pretty sort of celebration card that I'm doing. So I'm just going to tuck, put my glue gun down, lift this up a little and tuck it kind of in where there's embossing powder above it, so that you kind of can't see the glue too much. Just lift and tuck it where it's kind of not going to be seen too much. Okay, and then do the same on this side. So I'm just going to turn the card round so it's easier for me to work on. Again, just sort of sliding it where there's embossing powder above it so that you can't see it too much. There will be a description of all the materials that I've used on my social media if you want to get hold of them. But obviously these particular stamps, they are currently only available from my own website. All that information is going to be underneath this video. Okay, so before I start adding in the bits that are going to decorate the sides, I want to start positioning where I want the flowers. And I know that I want one right in the middle, but I'm going to make sure that I've got the card facing the right way so that I can make sure that I'm leaving space for the sentiment. But I am going to pop this one right in the middle. Okay, and then before I go any further, I'm going to work out how I want the rest laid out. So it's always a good idea to have an idea of where you want to put everything before you start committing completely to the design. And that is pretty much how I want the design to go. So I'm just going to pull this down here. I might pop this side actually. No, I'm going to leave this one this side and then add the foliage in around. So the next one I'm going to do is just move these two out of the way here and then pop the next one on. And this is what I was saying about keeping the glue hidden underneath the foliage here. Sorry, underneath the flowers. so all the glue from the acetate is hidden. I'm just going to lean over and grab another glue stick here. Okay, so move those up there. So which ones haven't I done? So I haven't done you and I haven't done you. Okay. The flowers done like this kind of make me think of cherry blossom. I think if I was to use a darker pink but keep with the white embossing powder, it would really look very much like cherry blossom, which would be a beautiful design. I might work on something with that in mind in another video. Okay, so I believe that is all of those bits stuck down. So all I'm going to do now is fill in around the edges with the other bits and pieces. So I'm just going to pop them where I think I want them and then adjust accordingly, remembering to keep it so that all the forgetting my word today, so that all the embossing powder is sitting on the top and not on the back, or the underneath it would be at that point. So how much more do I want? Because you'll slide in there, you'll slide there. It's always fun to have a play with the design once you've started. Once you put the main part down, it's interesting to work out what can go where next. Yeah, I think I like the look of that, so I think I'm just going to maybe take one of those out and fill that in more like that. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do there. So just remembering to adhere the glue to the bottom so that it's hidden underneath the petals of the flowers. And we are coming to an end on this one. There's only one more bit to do after this. Pop that down and lift the petal up. And that is the sentiment, which again I'm very excited about. As I said, if you're watching this during sort of October of 2019, then that is an absolute sneak peek. And after that, they should be able to be found on my website. Just lifting that one up there, slide that in there. That's also a bit of a hint as to when they're going to be released as well. I feel as though I'm giving far too much away today. But I'm in a good mood, so why not? Okay, so just lifting up the final petal this side here to slide this up, slide this underneath. Slide, slide. Oh, doesn't want to go in anymore. Let me just pull it round a bit then, since it doesn't want to go in anymore. Okay, that'll do. So I'm just going to turn my glue gun off and move this out of the way. And as I said, that is pretty much the card done. I've got lots of glue strings. Let me just grab some of these up out the way. Okay. So the final step is the sentiment. So I'm just going to take these stamps off of here and pop them up here for now. And decide where to pop the congratulations and on what piece of cardstock to put it on. Do I want to go silver onto white with a frame of pink? I think I do. I think I do. So let me move the card to one side a bit more. Grab my stamping mat back. Grab the paper. And because that's quite a small piece, so I'm pretty guaranteed I'm just going to have fingerprints all over it. Let's grab the Versamark again. And this is perfectly sized. I will only need to trim this off at the edge. Just give that a press. Grab the silver. Oops, give that a bit of an emboss. So again, letting it warm up. Emboss that from underneath. As soon as you see the embossing powder turn, move on. There we go. Let me just quickly tidy up. Okay, so depending on where I want to put it will determine how I want to cut it, because I don't know whether I want to cut it as a pennant or as just a simple frame. Okay, I could pop it down here. I think there's more space up here, and so because I'm going to put it, I'm not going to have it poking out from anywhere like so, and so because of that I'm going to have it just as a frame. So again, move the card out of the way, pick up my guillotine, making sure there's a similar size edge on this side as there is next to the C here, and just chop that down. And then I want to grab a bit of the pink, so let me pull this back in, giving it a similar size frame as there is around the edge of the card. Just mark where I need to cut. And this side as well. Chop the other end. There's my snip. Okay. Grabbing my wet glue again to pop these two bits together. I think I want to pop this on a bit of 3D foam, if I can find my 3D foam just at the side of me here. Just because the flowers are raised because of the very simple shaping that I did on them. So that's going to sit here, or maybe a bit lower down. I'm going to put it so that it sits evenly in between the ridges that I created. 3D foam, not much. Just having a look to see if I can find any 3D foam at the side of me, which I cannot. So no, I'm going to put it on flat. All right. I didn't think about that bit when I was prepping this, whether I wanted it on 3D foam or not. That was just a decision I made there and then, and unfortunately I don't have any to hand, so flat it is. So I'm just going to line this up so that there is a similar kind of gap between the ridges and the sentiment. I'm just going to press that down. I really hope I line the card up the right way round, because that will be really frustrating if I haven't. Phew, I have. And that is the card finished. So it's a really pretty card. It's will make a beautiful wedding card. Using the soft pastel colours and the heat-proof acetate means that you get a really lovely airy feel to the finished project. So hopefully you like that card there. If you have, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you get told when my video comes out. As I said before, all my information can be found at the bottom of this video because you can find me all over social media. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye!